800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
There's a new food show sheriff in town, Podna. Trey's Chow Podcast Live will feature celebrity chefs and pitmasters with celebrity mixologists with creative cocktail menus from distilleries statewide. We'll have farmers, ranchers, wildlife experts, fishermen, and more, all for the culinary world and the foodies. Live from the Spoony Studios on the iHeartRadio platform, Trey's Chow Podcast Live.
All right, and here we are again for another Friday show with Trey's Chow Live. And in the studio in there, we got everybody, and it's crazy, all those guys in there. I went in there one time and tried to mess with those buttons, and I screwed everything up. All right, so today we got Chef Nathan Tate. Nathan, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Great to be here.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk a little bit real close about hot topics first. We've got, again, on June 15th, we have that big Wagyu beef roundup down at Blainstone Lodge, which we're part of. We're sponsoring that. We got 20 celebrity chefs down there. Plus, you can for $150, you can get a team together. And Wagyu is giving the beef. All you have to do is bring the team and how to cook it. And you got a chance to win $2,500 and a trip to Belize. That's not bad, right?
That sounds pretty nice.
That was pretty good, yeah. And then we got the Taste of Dallas next week, June 7th to the 9th. And tomorrow we got the Food Truck Championships in Graham. I'm going out there for that. I can't wait for that. Some of those food trucks have amazing food.
Yeah.
It's great. All right, so we're going to get down. We're going to talk a little bit to Nathan here. And Nathan, let me get this done. All right. So glad you came in today, man.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I braved the Texas monsoons to get here.
Did we try to find it?
Weather's been pretty crazy lately.
Oh, my gosh. We had so much rain at the ranch this week. I mean, it's just like now the ground's so saturated that if you get 2 inches, it looks like you get 6.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
It's awful. But we need it. I mean, it'll be good come summertime.
Yeah,
right?
I just wish they'd spread it out a little bit because in August we're going to be asking for rain.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, so let's. You're from Texas.
I am. I'm from Rockwall.
Rockwall, that's right.
Yeah.
That's where you grew up.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen changes in Rockwall, haven't you?
Oh boy, born and raised there. I was actually we just got back from a little trip to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And we were in Sarasota, and there they have this big Ringling Brothers circus museum.
Right.
So I was telling my kids and my wife, I could remember being a kid at elementary school, and a traveling circus would come through right there off of I-30 and set up a circus on I-30 where it's nothing but shopping centers now.
Right.
And we'd walk down from the school and go to see this little circus that was set up. And it was just nothing but hayfields and stuff back then. Yeah. I think there was a Dairy Queen.
Yeah, Dairy Queen.
And maybe there was a McDonald's when I turned about 5. I remember I have this great picture of me as a kid having my birthday, like 5-year-old birthday at McDonald's with Ronald McDonald.
Well, we didn't have all those restaurants back we got now.
No,
I mean, it sure didn't have Chuck E. Cheese.
No Chuck E. Cheese. That was you'd have to definitely have to drive a ways to get to Chuck E. Cheese. It was Showbiz Pizza back then.
That's right. It was. You're right. That's right. You're right.
I think we went to Dallas one year for my birthday. Showbiz Pizza.
But Dallas at that time was a hall.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was a haul. And then, of course, Fort Worth and Abilene, those places were like a day's drive. It seemed like back in those days.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's all just kind of one. Literally from Rockwall.
The Metroplex is Frisco, all of that. It's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
But lots of changes. I mean, in high school, there were no stoplights on my way from my house to high school. And, it was 4-way stop signs and 2-lane roads, and it's all changed.
It's crazy, huh?
It's crazy.
So what made you? So you were in the high school. Then when did you start? When did you get in the restaurant business? What made you want to get in the restaurant business?
Well, so my mother was always a great cook, and she was just a homemaker. Basically, she had 3 boys, so that kept her hands full.
Are they all as big as you?
Yeah, I'm the biggest, but they're pretty close.
She had to be a cook then.
Yeah, and but she had always loved to cook and wanted to open a restaurant. And she got into catering first. Actually, cool little thing. She did some catering gigs for the Cowboys back in the day. The old the Super Bowl Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, back in the day.
Emmett. I think it was when Dion was there.
Oh yeah.
So, but whatever years that was,
Yeah.
and that was always fun. I wish, looking back on it, I was like, man, I should have gone and helped her.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But,
Super Bowl, what's that? No, just kidding.
But I was a young kid, but
Yeah.
I probably guess I was in high school or
Sure.
junior high at that time, and but she took over a little place in Rockwall called the Goliad House.
That's a neat
It was
name.
a little cafe. It's off of Goliad Street in Rockwall, and there was this huge group of old little houses that had been converted into like shops and
neat,
stuff,
yeah.
boutiques and stuff. It's actually not there anymore. They
I'm sure.
unfortunately demolished the whole thing, and it's a parking lot, and they expanded the highway. So, but that's how she got in. She got into food that way. She only had that place for a couple years, and just decided it with the boys, and it was just too tough on her.
Yeah.
It's something to start late in life. It's kind of difficult,
Sure.
with the hours and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
There's
And
no time off. You know that.
I was in high school at that time. I guess my younger brother was in middle school, so
Yeah.
it was,
Tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was cool. And my grandma had always been a really good like Southern cook.
Sure.
And we always, would have Sunday dinners over there.
Yeah.
So food was always kind of, in my life, and
Right.
I always enjoyed eating.
Yeah. You and me
a
both.
little too much.
Yeah.
But that was, and then so in high school I didn't really cook a lot, but
Right.
when I went off to college, I was always a good student in high school. Went off to college and joined a fraternity and spent a lot of time at the fraternity house
Yeah.
and not a lot of time in the classroom.
Yeah.
But I started like playing around with like grilling and like
Sure.
smoking meat and like
Oh,
making beef. I used to love to do those like really thin beef ribs, like right off the
Right.
ribeye,
Right.
because you could find them super cheap in the
Right.
grocery store. I mean, there wasn't a lot of meat on them,
Right.
but they were pretty easy to cook, and we'd
Right.
smoke them and grill them up, and kind of got into it that way.
Kind of bit you then.
Yeah, a little bit. And, I was still in college and didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was just if you don't know what you're going to do, you become a business major. And that's what I was. And like, I was just like, what am I doing here? And honestly, it was right around the time 9/11 happened. And I was like, kind of like hit me,
Right.
like a wake up call.
Right.
Like, man, why am I just wasting my time here?
Right.
Like I'm wasting my parents' money,
Right.
wasting my money,
Right.
wasting my time. I'm not applying myself here.
Right.
So I dropped out.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
did too.
I'm sure my parents were terrified, and because I'd always been like, I was like top 10% of my class kind
Right.
of guy. I was always the good student, and then it just went. But so I dropped out and kind of bummed around for a little bit. Went to live with some of my buddies in Huntsville, Texas, and that's where I can officially say I got my first cooking
Huntsville.
job. Huntsville,
Not in the prison.
not in the prison, at the school. There is a college there.
Yeah, there is a college there. St. Houston, right?
Sam Houston.
Yeah.
That's where one of my best friends was going to school.
That statue outside that's the biggest thing. That statue's huge.
Yeah, it's an interesting area. I mean,
Yeah.
it's school and it's prison, and just about everything down there revolves around one or the other.
I haven't paid attention. Do they have a new prison, or are they still using the old one? Do you know?
Man, they have so many different ones.
Okay, they got
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do down there. Every other person
Works in a prison.
works in the prison or for it or
Yeah.
whatever. But so I went there and I was like, well, I can't just like mooch off these guys. I need to find a job. Looked in the paper. I think it was actually a newspaper. And, and saw that Sonic was hiring. So I was like, you know what? I got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I got a job at Sonic.
Yeah, how about that?
Honestly, I learned a lot there. I think I was there like 1.5 or 2 weeks before they asked me to be the manager.
Upgrade.
Yeah. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But it was a good learning experience. You know, I always tell people, like, if you want to get into the business and you're really unsure, like if you're a young kid, go get a job at a fast food place.
Yep.
Because whether it's fast food all the way to fine dining, the basics of what you're going to be doing, it's the same.
The same.
I mean, obviously there's changes,
Right.
but the basic core of what you're doing, creating food, serving people, getting it to them,
Right.
taking their money,
Right.
all that,
Right.
it's the same thing.
Same thing. It does give you a lot of skills, like we
It
talked
does.
earlier.
It gives, I mean, I kind of wish some of my employees would go to work some fast food, because you get that sense
urgency.
of urgency,
Yeah.
which like a lot of times guys who come out of culinary school and stuff that have been, you know, tweezering food
Right.
don't always have.
Right. Not that it's a bad thing. You just don't have it. They're taught a different system than what, if people could work. And I did it, you know, I did it for 20 years. I know. If you could work fast food and then go to fine dining or full service, it makes a big difference.
And integrate the things,
yes.
the things you learn. Yeah,
it's
and
education.
I think that's really kind of helped me in my career for sure.
Yeah.
For
Or 3 places. It's 3 places. You have 3 places now, right?
Yeah.
Or 4? No, 3.
Three.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you learned, you went to Sonic.
Yeah.
Did you take the manager job?
I took the assistant manager job.
Okay.
They wanted to have me open my own store, and that's when I was like, man, it kind of another little crossroads.
Yeah.
I could probably go make decent money, like open my own Sonic store.
Right.
And I was only there for like maybe a year.
Yeah. That business school was paying off.
That's what the one semester of business school is what did it. But I was like, you know, I have a passion to cook better food than this. Sure. And I was like, I'm going to go to culinary school. And I'd already known, because my mom had really been into the food scene, and like she loved to go to all the latest restaurants and stuff. And I already knew that El Centro in Dallas was a great culinary program, especially for the money. It's the only culinary program I would recommend to anyone, honestly. And went to El Centro. Luckily, I already had like all my basic college stuff, so I was only there for like a year or so. Just did the year and a half maybe, and I was working as I was there, moving up in the ranks to wonderful restaurants like Johnny Carino's.
Oh yeah,
Fuddruckers.
Fuddruckers. Hey, all that's experience though.
But you know what? Fuddruckers back, I don't know if they still do that, but Fuddruckers back in the day, the one I worked at, we had like a little butcher case, mini butcher case.
That's right.
And we cut our own steaks.
Yeah.
We would do steaks on the flat top, like ribeyes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd cut ribeyes and learned how to like patty burgers and run all the patty machines and weigh out all the meat and stuff.
Fuddruckers used to be a huge deal. I mean, it's still a big deal, but they're just, I don't ever see any advertising for them. So there's so many other burger places nowadays.
Yeah. They were kind of like the start of that kind of like upper end burger thing.
I think they were, yep.
But I think they kind of got overshadowed with everybody else coming in.
Yeah, they did.
But no, like I said, they were all great learning experiences. And when I was at El Centro, awesome program. The thing about El Centro is you can come out of El Centro not owing any money.
That's a big thing.
I mean, it's community college prices. And
that's a big thing.
Yeah.
With college
with
debt
anything.
now.
Yeah. With any, I mean, but it's one thing to come out with a master's degree in a field where you're actually going to make, you have the possibility to make starting out $50,000 a year.
Right.
no one's coming out of culinary school making 50 grand a year.
Right.
I haven't met that person yet.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where your degree is, when you come out of culinary school, you're going to have to start as a cook.
Yeah.
You're going to start at the bottom.
That's right.
So I was trying to, work at places and go to school at the same time. That's where I met.
But you were also driven.
Yeah.
And I think that I always tell people that people ask me all the time, what do you think the difference is between a chef and a cook? And I say passion. They have to be driven, because I think you have to be that next step. You have to be able to want, like you working and going to school at the same time. A lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you got the basis down while you were in school. So when you finally got graduated, you had a lot underneath your belt.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it would be like if I would have just been going to school, it'd be like basically starting from scratch.
Right.
Right. Why not try to do both at the same time? And I think even now, last time I was talking to the guys at El Centro, I think they're coming back with like the old apprenticeship program, which they used to do, where you're actually getting credit for the whole time you're working as an apprentice.
What makes you want to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that's where you met.
Oh, that is where I met my first business partner and friend, Randall Copeland.
Randall Copeland.
Yeah, Big Cat.
Cat.
He was known in Dallas. He was a man about town,
is that
for
like
sure.
Meow Cat or Tiger?
Well, he had this tattoo on his arm that I think he regretted getting.
Was it Tiger?
And I think it was a leopard, a puma.
A puma.
But it was really not a good tattoo at all. It was a Ruma. It was really tiny and just kind of poorly done. And I think that's part of how he got the whole Big Cat.
That's funny.
Big Cat nickname.
That's a great story. Stories, man, that makes up life, though.
Yeah. But I mean, he was a really fun loving guy. We were really tight back in the day, and met him at school. He was working at a place called Eastern Hills Country Club over in Garland. And I was like, hey, we need a cook over here. I was like, well, that sounds like a step up from Johnny Carino's.
Right.
Sure, let's do it. And went in and met the chef, a guy named Keith Champy, old school East Coast guy, who'd gone to the CIA.
Oh, yeah.
And really learned a lot from him, honestly. Learned a lot of like classic technique and building flavors with sauces and soups and stuff. And at the country club, you always get to do specials. So that kind of gave me a
broader range
opportunity to branch out and try some of my own stuff. Well, obviously not always successful.
But that's how you learn, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to you have to make mistakes to learn. I mean, it's just part of it.
Yep. For sure.
You got to risk it, man.
Failing is part of succeeding, I think.
Exactly right. That's right.
I've never met anyone who's super successful that doesn't have some failures in their past.
Yeah, I got lots of them.
Me too. We'll get to some of those.
I just keep bandaging around to bandage my knees up every time I fall. Just get up and start going again.
Right. So let's see, where were we? Randall. Yeah. So we met. We're at the country club, and he decides that at this point he wants to take another step up in his career, and moved out to Vegas to work at Bradley Ogden's in Caesar's Palace.
Oh yeah. I ate Bradley Ogden's. I like that place. I think that was in like, when is it? 2000 or when was that? 2003. I remember.
This was probably around 2004 or 5.
Okay. I ate there one time.
Yeah, and I think they had a little run. I don't remember when they closed. It was probably around 2008.
You know,
in
Vegas,
so.
Man, they rotate those things out. They got to change the concept.
Yeah. They flip them pretty quick.
Quick. And they'll spend money that you could not spend here and make it work in that amount of time.
No way. No way. So he was out there, and at this point I had decided to move on from the country club, and that's when Dean Faring was opening Faring's at the Ritz-Carlton. He had just left the mansion.
Right.
And
that little place we call the mansion.
The little place,
we call the mansion.
And I was really lucky to get in at the ground level on that and see the whole process and kind of
how it worked.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got a great place over there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I haven't been back in a while, but I really need to get in there, and he's just the nicest guy. But it was really cool. I mean, I did everything from like help unload the plates and all the equipment all the way to like opening day, and just got to be part of all that.
What an experience, man.
Yeah, I think it really kind of helped me see the whole opening process.
Sure.
And,
see, like stuff like that can't be taught.
mhm.
It just can't be. I opened up, I'm going to guess 100 200 restaurants for, for my dad, my family, from fast food to, and you learn. It seems like every time you open up something, or you did a remodel, or you had to do a redo, you learn something every time. It's not always the same. Something doesn't work on the floor, something doesn't work in the walls, the colors don't work. The dishes didn't. It's always something.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, it's the greatest learning experience.
Oh, boy.
Because you see it all. And I guess I haven't done 150 or whatever, but I guess I've done about five now.
Yeah.
And
does that include?
they're all learning
Well,
experiences.
you did Dean's. So that'd be 6.
Well, no,
That
I'm
included-
including. Well,
okay.
we've got five.
Yeah, okay.
So I was there and worked there for a little bit. I think I wasn't quite there even a year, but that's kind of, I got to the point in my career. I was married at this time, and I really decided that if I'm going to keep doing this in this business in this capacity, that I wanted to figure out a way to do it for myself.
Right.
And
That switch finally went off.
and open my own place. And I was probably only 26,
Yeah, you were
so
young.
I was pretty young.
What was the determining factor for you? Was it one thing? Was it many things? What was the switch that flipped for you that made you go do that? You think? You ever thought about it?
Yes, and it's my family, honestly.
That's awesome.
I knew like if I kept going the way I was, that I would never really have a family life. I'd never,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure I'd have kids, but I wouldn't be doing them the service as a father, because I'd be working so many hours,
Right.
not be able to set my own schedule at all.
Sure.
You know, when you're a chef for somebody else, you're working 12 hours a day, and it's usually at any fine dining place, it's at night.
Right.
Unless you're,
That's where all the business is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't allow you to have a family life. And that was really my goal, is to try to figure out a way to set up some restaurants, and so I could see my kids have a,
That's a great goal. So you realize a lot of people just don't realize that. I think they realize it, but they don't want to take that risk. They don't want you out there and do it.
yeah. And I'm glad I'm glad I realized it before I had kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of it was just at that point, I was like, I never see my wife,
Yeah.
this is not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see how people do it. I know they do, but it wasn't for me,
Yeah.
And so I got in touch with Randall, and we got a SBA loan through our bank.
We talked about the SBA loan scenario.
I think it was about this much
That's
paperwork.
I told you I had to do one. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you talk about learning. And my dad, we did it because he wanted me to learn. No, that's not right. Go back. I mean, it was a crazy deal.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing the paperwork ourselves. We paid somebody to do it, and it wasn't cheap.
What'd your banker tell you? He said you really want it?
Yeah, you really should just pay someone to do this.
Oh God.
But we were able to get the loan, and we got some money from my family too. I wouldn't be here in my position if my dad hadn't helped
Same
us
way.
out. My grandparents, I mean, they definitely floated some loans for us, and
That's awesome.
yeah, and we opened Restaurant Ava, which was kind of around the time when farm to table was really
Right.
popping off,
And that was in Rockwall.
in Rockwall, yeah, and we did a lot of business with local farmers, and
That's the farm to table is really taken off.
yeah, and it was really a critically successful restaurant. Probably about 5 years too early in Rockwall for what we were doing.
Yeah, Rockwall's changed a lot now.
Yeah, we were, man, well, so we were there, and that's where I met my current business partners, Brooks and Bradley.
Brooks and Bradley.
Yeah.
B&B.
And we had talked about that. They were doing Sunday suppers at their place, Veritas.
Okay.
off of Greenville. Off of Knox Henderson.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We have to go to a break here because they like to pay bills. Or capitalists around here like to pay for all this stuff. They have bills around here.
Yeah, it looks expensive.
Yeah. So we're going to go to break, and we'll be back in a minute. We'll talk about everything he's got going on. See you.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it
Try
does.
it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
All right, and here we are. We're back again for another 30 minutes of Trey's Chow Down Live with Chef Nathan Tate from Dallas. All right, buddy. All right, so we left off Knox and Henderson.
Right, Lee, at Veritas. They're doing Sunday suppers, and me and Randall did some Sunday suppers with them. And they had really been wanting to expand their restaurants or get into more of a restaurant and less of a wine bar. Right. Both of them, they have family from France, and they had always wanted to do kind of a French bistro. And, I'm not French.
You're obviously not.
I've never been to France.
You're country boy, Texas.
I'm from kind of East Texas, not quite East Texas, but pretty damn close to East Texas. But I've cooked all that food.
Right.
Classic training is French. Right. That's what I was brought up in.
Yeah.
And I love that food. We got together and we found a location in Bishop Arts way back in the day. I think the only restaurants down there at that time were Bolsa and Tillman's.
Yeah.
And I think Lucia was just opening. I think they opened a little before us or right around the same time. I don't recall. But this was like 8 years ago. And put a lot of time into the menu, the opening menu, and wanted it to have a little, not be, I knew I didn't want it to be like a strictly French menu because that wouldn't be honest to who I am.
Right.
So
you kind of tweaked it.
Definitely has like some Creole and Cajun influences, some Texas influences. So we have a very French name, Boulevardier, but we've never billed ourselves as like a straight up French restaurant.
That just sounds sexy, Boulevardier.
Yeah, Boulevardier. So me and Brooks were in New Orleans, right? And doing some research for Boulevardier, like research, eating tons of food and drinking way too much. And I can't do that anymore. But I could back then. And ran across a cocktail called the Boulevardier, and it's a classic cocktail.
So you got your inspiration from the cocktail.
From the cocktail,
which
and then
is really cool.
And then we looked up the name, the meaning of the name Boulevardier, which means a man about town. And we thought that kind of
Boulevardier.
Yeah, Boulevardier. I was actually thinking, like, you're kind of like a Boulevardier. You're always around town at doing the newest, hippest thing, right? But I just thought it just kind of made sense. Well, actually, we had a name before Boulevardier that, and we got a nice little letter from someone's lawyer that said we couldn't use it. Someone else in California had already used the name. Yeah.
Well, I didn't take long, did it?
No, not at all. But Boulevardier, it's a funky name, and I was really worried about it because people still can't pronounce it right.
Yeah.
But it's worked out, and we got a lot of great press there. Trying to think.
Still going strong.
Still going strong. I think when we opened, we hit the Texas Monthly Best New Place. All those things. The D Magazine. I don't.
Yeah.
We got some accolades for sure, and it's kind of been. You realize you're being very successful in the restaurant business. You're very down to earth. Pretty easygoing guy, I think.
It's neat though. It's neat. It's part of your personality.
Actually,
which is neat.
One of my manager at Hillside recently told me, he was like, man, so one of the servers came up to me and was like, what is the deal with Nathan? I can't believe, like, I was expecting him to just like yell at everybody. Like, what is every place, like, chef I've ever worked for, like, yells at everybody. I was like, man, I don't have time for that in my life these days. I don't have the blood pressure. Not to say I've never done it. And, when I was younger, I probably did some things I regret, but man, these days, it's not worth it.
You can't, first of all, with all the open kitchens you have and all the social media you have and all the cameras and cameras on cell phones and everything people do, you can't yell at people. People think you're crazy. They won't come to your place.
Yeah.
That's a 70s, 80s, 60s, 50s deal. You can't do that and get away with it anymore nowadays.
I don't get it, man. I don't understand
Plus
it at
the
all.
blood pressure level. Yeah. Jesus.
And just keeping good people. You can't, I mean,
they can go right across the street.
It's not like it used to be where someone would put up with that junk to work in a nice kitchen.
Right.
It's, we're struggling to find people to come work for us.
Yeah.
You gotta treat people really well these days to keep them.
That's right.
To keep them working for you.
That's right.
But so at this time, Restaurant Avon Rockwall was going. Randall had kind of taken over that, and I had moved over to Boulevardier. To take that to get that one going.
Right.
And unfortunately, at this, that's when it was pretty recently, actually, about a month ago. It was the anniversary, I think. So Randall passed away in his sleep. He was only like 30. Can't remember if he was 38 or 39. Happened? He was a really young guy. I don't know.
No.
I don't really want to. I didn't want to like dig into it, or I mean, that was his family's business.
Yeah.
I just know he passed away in his sleep. It was really kind of shocking for everybody. The only thing, I mean, he was a bigger guy for sure.
Yeah.
They said his heart was enlarged, but it wasn't like something that should have been like an immediate, death type thing.
Yeah. That's always shocking.
I spent a lot of time with him, and he really, man, I would tell that guy, like, dude, you got to do something for this sleep apnea, because we'd crash or whatever in the same room before, and he would snore like no other.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to like speculate or anything, but I mean, I would imagine that he had really bad sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea is very hard. Your body has to have rest. It has to have time to recuperate.
I think that probably had a big part of it, unfortunately. Yeah. But he was people still have stories about Randall. He was actually a Boulevardier. He was a man about town for sure. He got around and made a lot of friends and just made a real mark on
Sure.
the Dallas scene while he
Sure.
was here, and he's a great guy to know, and I miss him, and
Yeah.
but it's life goes on,
Life goes on.
and I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if
Without
I
him.
hadn't have met him and we
Yeah.
hadn't have started Restaurant
Oh,
Ava.
big cat.
Big cat. And
Meow.
so he'll always have a place in my heart for
Sure.
the success that I have.
It's
honestly.
part of where you're going, where you came from.
Yeah. So at Boulevardier going,
Right.
Um,
And then you did, and then you. So that's my favorite place, which I
Raps,
love that name.
Rapscallion. So
Rapscallion.
it's kind of a play off the whole Boulevardier
Right,
thing.
right.
So Boulevardier, Man About Town, the
Right.
Frenchy thing, right?
Right.
And Rapscallion is what my grandma used to call us when we were being naughty.
You rapscallion.
And it's an old Southern term
Right.
that she would always say it, in a loving
Right,
way, but
right.
you rapscallion.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of a naughty, roguish kind of character. And we were like, well, we got the Man About Town, we got the naughty rogue. And
Yeah.
I really wanted Rapscallion to be all about smoke and live fire. And
That's probably one of the reasons I like it so much.
Southern, the whole Southern food thing was
Yeah.
really popping. And Rapscallion definitely has a Southern backbone.
It does, sure does.
But I didn't want it, just like Boulevardier, I didn't want it to be Boulevardier to be a strict French by the book place.
Right.
Rapscallion is not necessarily, a straight up Southern restaurant.
Right.
We do a lot of cool stuff. We dry age our own steaks
Yes, you
in
do.
house.
And you can see that right there. The cooler sits right there.
Yeah.
You can see that.
And we have a custom wood rotisserie
Yes, you do.
that we do some really,
I
really
told you I
good
love the
rotisserie
pictures.
chicken.
I'm
off
telling you, the pictures off that thing are
Yeah.
just the normal pictures are phenomenal. They're just delicious. They're sexy food pictures. They are.
Well, yeah.
And it tastes even better.
I hope so.
You have a biscuit there I really love. You know I love that biscuit. It's
Yeah, so our biscuit, we I don't want to give the exact recipe,
No,
but
no,
it's
no, no,
it's
no,
very.
I don't
it's-
want you to give the recipe
No, no,
away.
but it's very similar to a standard buttermilk biscuit, except we do one thing different, and that's add a lot more butter to it. And when we bake it, we make sure that we brush it in butter. It gets basted in butter 3 times during the baking process.
that's just sexy food talk.
And it's not like it gets a nice crust on
Right.
it, which is you don't
It
always
does.
see with
No, you
like
don't.
a biscuit, and it's
No.
kind of cake like inside, but it has that nice buttery crust
Right.
on the outside.
And you also have that chicken, that spicy chicken that goes.
Yeah.
It's a spicy chicken biscuit, right? And it's
Spicy chicken biscuit, but
that's
where that's for the brunch menu.
Right, right.
But we do my version of Nashville hot chicken,
right.
which is, and that's why I'm going back to, I didn't want Rapscallion to be just a Southern place. Like I take influences. I love all different types of global food. Once again, me and Brooks were down in Houston doing some research for
Well,
Raps.
you like that research, don't you?
Yeah. But Houston has an amazing like Chinatown or Asian
Yeah,
Asian
they do.
area. I forget what it's called right now, but and we went to this restaurant, Szechuan restaurant called Mala. And Mala is kind of like the mother sauce for Szechuan cuisine. It's that red chili sauce that you see in Szechuan cuisine.
okay.
With the chili oil.
Right.
And we just went there, and like honestly, that was our favorite meal in Houston. We went to all the nice places,
Yeah.
and this little hole in the wall Chinese place was our favorite meal.
That's a lot of
And-
times that's the best.
I mean, with the thing about the Szechuan chili sauces, they have Szechuan peppercorn in it, right? And Szechuan peppercorn's not spicy, but it flavorful, and
Yeah.
it has this like numbing sensation to it. So when you're eating spicy food, it's like a perfect marriage.
Right.
So you eat like the spicy chili sauce with the peppercorn in it,
Right.
kind of numbs your mouth a little bit,
Right.
and it gives you this like it's hard to describe, but it just makes you want to eat more.
Right,
Like
right.
it's
You can't stop.
It's
Yeah.
craveable.
Right,
You
it's
can't
craveable.
stop.
That's
You don't
good.
want to stop to drink water or beer. You just want to eat more of it.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, this is so good. We got to figure out a way to do this at Rapscallion. And I'd been already playing with, I knew I wanted to do a smoked fried chicken or rotisserie fried chicken. And I'd already been doing like the tea brine, iced tea brine on it. And then we rub it in our barbecue spice, rotisserie it over the wood, pecan wood.
Right.
And then I came up with a dredge batter for it, and it was really good. But then to take it over the edge, this experience in Houston, it was like, light bulb.
Light bulb.
Oh, man. And the whole Nashville hot chicken was really hot at that moment, too. It was like, well, screw Nashville hot chicken. That's just a bunch of cayenne pepper.
Right.
Let's take this really flavorful mala.
Right.
And I took that mala oil, which has a ton of Asian spices and all kinds of stuff, and then I turned it into a vinaigrette, adding even more aromatics and fresh ginger and all that stuff. And that became our hot chicken, which I think is, I know I'm a little biased, but I think it's pretty damn good fried chicken.
It's delicious. It's delicious. Isn't it neat how the way inspirations, how things are created?
Yeah.
And it's a long process to get an inspiration for a dish. Just like you got that. That's it. Those stories will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
Because you took time and that dish.
You got to take time. That's the only way to have a
one of a kind dish.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. And
you know what else you have? Passion. I love that word, passion. Everybody comes on the show has passion of some sort for something they do.
Yeah,
and that's important.
For sure. It is. But that was kind of going back to the fried chicken thing. It was an aha moment, combining those two, you really think like Szechuan Chinese food and fried chicken. Yeah. But it really works.
Yeah, it does work.
And,
every time I go to Rapscallion, it's full. They're packed, so obviously it's working.
Yeah.
So you did Rapscallion, and then somehow,
Rapscallion's been about 5 years now. On Lower Greenville.
You didn't get enough. You had to go do another one, didn't you?
Well, we wanted to do something a little more low key,
right?
A little less labor intensive, a little less overhead involved,
a little easier for people,
a little more approachable to every, I understand our restaurants are expensive.
Yeah.
Boulevardier, Rapscallion, not a restaurant someone's going to go to every day.
No.
And we got to charge that much for what, I just told you how many steps are on our fried chicken. Yeah. It's not KFC.
No, it's not. Our Dairy Queen or Sonic.
So if you can imagine all the steps that go into our fried chicken, we gotta charge for it.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this much. I talked to Teaser about this. They just had a new article come out, and they did a huge study. Some college did for like a year. And people nowadays will pay for experiences. They want to pay for dining experiences, for drinking experiences, for traveling experiences. That's what they do. They are more worried. The younger generation is less worried about having a home. Sometimes they don't really want a car. They want food experiences. They want social experiences. They want to be able to travel and eat and drink. And so, at Boulevard and Rapscallion both, you get those experiences.
That's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now we're at Hillside.
And at Hillside, we wanted it to be still an experience, but somewhere where someone could hang out every day too.
Right.
And we thought that area over there off of Mockingbird and Abrams, kind of edge of Lakewood, was kind of a little untapped area. There wasn't much over there for what we were looking at doing, which was a very straightforward tavern.
Right.
With, I don't want to say gastropub or anything like that, because that's not what we are, but kind of in between a gastropub and a bar.
You put the Nathan Tate tweakiness on it.
Yeah. We're going to have some flavorful things and also I'm able to, having these other restaurants, I'm able to utilize really nice products from these restaurants and ship them over to Hillside.
Right.
So we use all our rotisserie chicken that we serve at Hillside, like on our salads, and we do a lettuce wrap with it, just real straightforward lettuce wrap. It's the pecan rotisserie chicken from Rapscallion.
First of all, nothing's straightforward with you, so I don't be straightforward nothing.
Well,
it's a pecan smoked chicken. That's not straightforward.
Yeah, but comparatively. But I think that gives Hillside a little, edge
Sure.
as far as bar food goes.
Right.
We use
So
that
you're
same.
between- so
We
what
use
you're
that same
saying-
mala sauce like on our wings and
Oh,
stuff.
wow. So what you're saying is you're between bar food and gastropub. You're
Yep.
somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely not call us a gastropub because our menu reads very much straightforward bar food.
Right.
But it's got some flavor tweaks here and there and some chefy elements, but
Right.
without being crazy where I have to have a full-time prep crew and
Right.
no one's there.
Labor cost.
No onene's there cooking chicken all day. So we, all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
labor cost. That's huge.
Oh boy! I used when we run our restaurants. I heard this for years. They'd walk in, before I got in that position when I was still, because my family made us. My dad made we started cleaning toilets. I mean, we had this one guy who'd come in, this older guy. He was old. I mean, when I was younger, he was probably 60. He'd come in and say, "Hey, what's that smell? What's that smell, Trey?" I said, "What?" He said, "It's labor burning. Let some people go." But I mean, he drilled that in my head so much that I realized at that point, even though I was younger, what labor cost does to you.
Yeah, it makes and breaks you. All those little things.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to go the Hillside route, where we just have fewer of those things to worry about.
Yeah. So
fewer people, I mean, Rapscallion, I have, 10 cooks total.
Yeah.
At Hillside Tavern, I have 5 cooks total.
Yeah. Big difference.
Big difference.
So where'd you get the name Hillside? Where'd that inspiration come from?
So
Don't tell me you threw your partner down the hillside, you rolled down, you called Hillside.
No, we kind of wanted to go the exact opposite of our other concepts where we kind of got these, esoteric names.
Right.
And Hillside Tavern is the shopping center that Hillside.
Oh, you serious?
It's Hillside Shopping Center.
That's the only
is in
simple thing you
Hillside
have.
Tavern. That's it, man. We were like, let's just, this is our simple concept. Let's
Sure.
just not overthink it.
Right. So was it what? And I'm overthinking the situation. Where'd the Hillside concept, the center, come from?
I'm not sure.
It's not on a hill, is it?
I guess a small hill, but it's
Okay.
not like
Yeah.
I think that whole little area, there's like hillside this, hillside that.
Okay.
Maybe it was the neighborhood, hillside
Okay.
neighborhood at
Maybe,
one point.
Okay.
But that shopping center we're in is one of the oldest shopping centers in that area.
Oh wow.
Really old shopping center that they're just have redone.
Right.
And that was part of, the reason why we wanted to get in there is because they were redoing the whole thing. And it's been great so far.
That's awesome. And you have cocktails, you have full line of beer,
Yeah, lots of beer.
lot of local beer.
Lots of local beer and lots of domestic beer. We have 12 taps and big walk-in where the tap systems just come straight out of it, so it's nice and cold.
That's cold beer is so important. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what it's like to go somewhere and get a warm beer.
Yeah,
It's just
we
not.
That was one of the things. Like, it was PK's liquor store what we took over, so it kind of worked out. They had these huge walk-in coolers
wow.
already there.
Perfect.
And we were able to scale that down.
Let's build out.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, all those little things in the restaurant business.
Boy,
They add up to
see if you can do that again.
increase.
But that liquor store is a great idea with the big walk-ins. That
Yeah.
saved a lot of money.
And we were able, actually, I was able to sell the other part of that we didn't use and makes a little cash off that
Ain't
too.
that great? What's your favorite thing on the menu at Hillside Tavern? Here's one of my questions to answer.
Hillside, it's hard to pick, but
You said the wings with the mala sauce. Is that good?
those are really good. If I had to pick one thing, it would probably be, well, honestly, I want to say our burger.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you 2 things.
Okay.
So our burger, it's very straightforward, very simple. Well,
Here we
You
go.
might-
you need to quit saying that.
to me, but I have a nice little spice we put on it, and it's just an old school griddle smash burger. So we just take a ball of meat, nice little seasoning, and smash it on the griddle where you get that nice sear on it,
Seared at the crunch. Yeah.
little crunchy bits.
Oh, I love that.
I do a provolone and American mix
Oh, I love
because the
that.
provolone adds a little more richness, that
Yes.
butter
A little
fat.
smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it melts good too.
and it-
Provolone, I think melts one of the best. It like, right?
Yeah, it just coats it.
Yeah.
And I tried so many different kinds of cheeses. Honestly, gained 20 pounds, I think, testing all the recipes the past year and a half for Hillside Tavern.
Well, you know, I have a big burger list I do, which has gotten huge. Last year, I've already had 100,000 people look at it this year, and we did put it on Fox. And your rapscallion burger makes my list every year.
Oh, good.
So I can't wait to try the Hillside burger.
I gotta feed you the double at Hillside.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot of people say it's one of the best they've had.
I can't
for
wait.
that style of burger. You know,
Yeah.
it's not chefy. It's just. It's nicely. I do a little Creole mustard and a little mayonnaise, so it's nicely dressed and just straight, kind of like what Hillside is, straightforward, but with little tweaks here and there to make it a little nicer.
And what's your favorite dish at Rapscallion? When you talk about the chicken, was that
It's
your favorite
got to
dish?
be the fried chicken,
It's gotta
all
be,
that whole story behind it. And then at Boulevardier, man, it's been on the menu since we opened, and it's nothing.
But if it's going to be that long, it's got to be good.
Yeah, it's just roasted bone marrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's just split bones, and we've had multiple versions of it. You know, that's pretty classic French, just some nice toasty baguette. We do like a roasted garlic and a little salad over the top with sea salt, and you just smear it on the bread. And it's just something about that. It's just...
I'm amazed at how popular in the last 10 years that bone marrow and tartare have gotten. People before wouldn't even touch tartare. Now it seems like it's on every menu every time I go somewhere.
Yeah.
Same thing with bone marrow.
Yeah.
A lot of guys call it meat butter.
Meat butter. Yep. Beef butter.
Beef butter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
So when Nathan is not when he's not at the helm, the ship, what's his favorite thing to eat when he's not there? When he's by himself, or he's driving down the road, or he's gonna go somewhere. What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
That's tough. So I have 2 young kids. I was thinking about this on the drive over here. I was like, man, if he asked me like where I go to eat, I haven't been out to like a nice restaurant or anywhere to eat in so long because I have a toddler and a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
and like when we're not. I mean, when I'm not at the restaurant, we're like, family time, keeping
what's your
up
guilty
with them.
pleasure at home? What's something that you like to eat? Like,
dude, honestly, it's tacos.
Oh,
it's,
man, hard to beat.
Just
You ever
classic
had a
street tacos.
taco?
I have.
Those are always good, right?
There's a taco. Actually, I'm a fan of the spicy bean burrito at Taco Casa.
Yes, that's green chili. Green chili. And Taco Casa uses real shredded cheese.
They use
shred
real shredded cheese, and I think they make the bean. Well, I don't know if they make, but I've seen a big pot of beans.
No, they
in
make
there.
the beans. They make their beans, and that's fresh green chili. Yes, it's the best fast food taco concept in my opinion.
But I like more of the traditional Mexican tacos. Way better.
Sure.
I love the offcuts. I love like the tripas and the lingua. I think lingua is probably. I would take good lingua over good brisket any day.
Yeah.
And
Something else.
I love tripa tacos.
Who do you like? Who do you like those from?
Man, honestly, usually it's leaving the restaurant where I can grab them. In Rockwall, there's one place that's decent. It's called El Tio Moon, and it's been there forever. But over by Rapscallion, there's a place called El Ataron, which has really good
You
tacos.
should pronounce those names good. El Ataron. El Ataron.
Ataron. They do. What's good about El Ataron too? They do like what's called Mexico City style quesadilla, where they take the fresh masa, right?
Oh,
and they make a big fresh tortilla
best.
out of masa.
Yeah.
And usually a quesadilla is the flour tortilla, right? And they fold it over, and you get that crispy corn. It's really good. And they have also wheat lacoche. Do you know what that is? The corn, corn.
I'm sure I've eaten it, but I don't pronounce it like you.
So it's like it's kind of a fancy ingredient in Mexican food. It's kind of weird. It's like a fungus that grows on corn, but it's kind of like the truffle of Mexican food.
Got you.
It has that real earthy, like truffly, almost mushroomy flavor.
That's good.
It's really good. Yeah, it's a great little dive. I usually just hit those places on my way home.
I love them. Okay, so here we got Rapscallion, we got Boulevardier. Is that right? Say right?
Yeah.
Boulevardier.
You got it.
And
man.
Hillside Tavern. Or those all have their own websites?
Yes, sir.
Boulevardier.com.
Well, I don't even know if We might not.
Rapscallion does.
We might not have a website yet at Hillside.
Oh, you might have.
Tavern.
Okay, well, it's on
I don't think
Facebook,
so.
though.
We're on
It's
Facebook.
on social media. Look it
yeah,
up.
for sure.
And then a Rapscallion, which I love. And then Boulevardier's got one. I've seen those.
Yes, sir.
And if you're trying to get a hold of us, as usual, Trey'sChowdown.com. I tell everybody it's Trey with an E because all the great Treys are spelled with E, not A. And of course, we're on the Spoony Network. And if y'all have not been to the Spoony Network, you really got to check it out. These guys spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and hell, they gave me my own show, which is kind of hard to believe still to this day, but they did. So check out the Spoony Network. But I want y'all to check out. Be sure and go to BlainstoneLodge.com, please. That's a big thing we're doing. It's a big production, and that's 2 weekends from now. So Blainstone.com. And please check out Nathan's Restaurants one more time. Boulevardier. I love that. Boulevardier.
You got it, man.
I was saying it wrong.
You already got the pronunciation down.
Boulevardier, Rapscallion, Hillside
Are you sure
Tavern.
you're not from France?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That cow's foot wrap taint leg. I'm not from France. So we're going to be here next Friday, y'all. Trey Chapman Live, 10 a.m. Come back and see us. Nathan, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
It was great.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you, man.
Good to talk to you.
That was fun.